Hello and welcome to the Morale Booster podcast. I am Dr. John Ugulu, your host, and today we are thrilled to welcome our special guest, Dr. Pat Boulogne. So let's embark on this inspiring journey together. If this is your first time joining us on the Morale Booster podcast, I want to say welcome and I want to encourage you to please like and share this broadcast. And here is the reason why you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear the message that we will be sharing today. Like and share it. I am doing the same thing right now. You can do that from your phone, wherever you are, so that everybody on your contact can see it. You can also distribute it on all your social media platforms. So we're having a conversation with Dr. Pat today. Now, who was this great woman? Dr. Pat is a high performance mastery mentor and coach. She's a functional medical doctor, lifestyle strategist, and an international best selling author. She's also the CEO and founder of Health Team Network. It is a company dedicated to skyrocketing health, lifestyle, and mindset with superior science based solutions and programs where results truly matter. Now, Dr. Pat is passionate about sharing knowledge and solutions and making sense of challenges that lead to better outcomes at work, home, or play, which is everything you need for better health and mindset mastery. She speaks about simple high performance solutions and how to achieve more health and happiness, how to develop the right mindset and reach your greatest goals in less time. Her personalized programs reflect each client's unique bio-individual needs and goals. So with Dr. Pat, no stone is left unturned, covering mind, body, and soul. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome no other person but Dr. Pat to the Morale Booster. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you for joining us on this program.
Wow, thank you so much for a gracious introduction. It's a real big pleasure to be here, and it's a big pleasure to be reconnected with Atlanta. Like we were basically almost neighbors and didn't know it. But I'm really, really happy to be on this platform. I love to share knowledge. I like to uplift. I like to see people do good, have fun, and thrive. And that especially formulating health, habits, and happiness and getting there.
You are there already. I want to be like you when I grow up. Thank you so much.
Oh, I say that all the time when I meet somebody. I say, when I grow up, my next lifetime. And that's lovely.
So,
Thank you.
y- you're very welcome, and you're doing so well. So I really do appreciate you, and taking time off your extremely busy schedule to come on a platform to speak to people you don't even know. That speaks volume.
Mhm.
I typically align myself with people like that because it's not easy. So I would say you are a super woman. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. This is really a special opportunity to grace people's knowledge, and also just sometimes just plant the seed, because that seed with a little bit of water, by the time spring comes around, you have beautiful plants that are coming up, and we all like very easy on your eyes and very easy on your mind.
Yes, that resonates. I concur. Thank you. So how's the weather there? Are you in New York or in Atlanta?
No, I am not in Atlanta, because if I was in Atlanta, I wouldn't have a turtleneck on and around 18 layers of clothes. I am in New York, and I am in the Finger Lakes, and I actually am in a very famous place, for a couple of reasons. Cornell is right next to here, in Ithaca, and in the city that I live in. Someone told me the other day, which I knew, but I didn't know how important it was. It's one of the biggest formula racing tracks in the world. That's famous. globally. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'm, going to plan to go see it. But the lake here is beautiful. Seneca Lake is 600 feet deep. And
Wow.
you think about the ocean, and there's places that, I've been in the ocean and it's like 300, and I think I said, I don't want to jump in. I want to go in the ocean. I want to know who I'm swimming with. Um,
Right.
it's really, really, even in the dead of winter, even though it's like super, super cold, and I had to buy boots and jackets and everything like that. But it's really, really beautiful here.
All right, good to know. Thank you so much. And it's a small world. We didn't know we used to be neighbors here in Georgia,
Right.
but now we know. So whenever you're in town, know that you have a friend, a morale booster here in
Oh, for
Georgia.
sure.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
you always
All
could
right,
have
so let's.
another cheerleader, right?
Yes, that's what I do for a living.
Can't have too many.
We try our best.
Hmm.
But anyway, thank you so much for that. All right, let's I've got a question for you. Now, I know you are in the health and wellness space. As a
Hmm.
doctor, health is paramount. We all know health is wealth. You often emphasize the connection between health and mindset mastery. Can you explain how improving physical health directly impacts mental clarity?
Sure. In order to have really good health, you have to have great mindset. You have to have a robust mindset. And in order to have a robust mindset, you really have to have great health. And they actually feed off of one another. We always heard of the 80-20 rule, or, and sometimes the 80-20 rule, sometimes is the 70-30 rule, or the 60-40 rule, or like 50-50. But when you're looking at, if I want to have more productivity, I want to have more success, I need to figure out how to make a plan. I need to have, other pieces of the puzzle for business in place. Then I've got to start. I have to know what my foundational line is, and I have to know what going back to basics looks like for me. It's very individualistic. So the mindset mastery portion of it is, having your mind so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. And the other part of the health part of it is that if you don't know where your health is at, you're always scrambling. And a lot of people don't pay attention to their health until they're in crisis. When they're in crisis, they're going, Dr. Pat, can you do a miracle? It's just like, I'm pretty good. And but I've got to have something to work with. There's no magic, like potion that's going to get you from one point to the other point. So what a lot of things, even in my book, Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired? What it does is it increases your health awareness. Like, what is it that I can do so I can do it better? Because you can be better. And 2025 is my year of screaming on top of a mountain, going, you can be better, be better. It's just like, stop putting it off. Just do it, and find that peace. Because when you have your mindset, it's easy to navigate the metrics for health, like for diet and nutrition. And then you aren't saying like, well, no diets ever work for me. Well, because you never done them. You never got past the first week. And, but you have to have the strong mindset in order to do it, to organize it, and then you want to look at things like diet and exercise, and so like we're now on exercise, which is the second pillar of health, by the way. And so exercise, you got to move or you're going to die. My very first patient in Atlanta, Georgia, you know, um, we called her grandma. And at the downtown clinic for Life Chiropractic College, was now called Life University, and that she came in 92 years old. And I said, what can I do for you? And she goes, I got to finish an Afghan. And she said, we got a new one, and she goes, I have to finish the Afghan. And she was the grandmother of my very first patient. And so I said to her, I asked her what she did for exercise. And she said she took her Dixie cup. If I can't even, her beautiful Southern Georgian accent was wonderful. I took my Dixie cup and I went outside and I watered my plants, Dr. Pat. And I said, well, how many plants do you have? I'm thinking she has 10, something like that. And she goes, oh, I have 150. you know. And so
Wow.
she would go inside the house, and she was nervous about the neighborhood that her house was in, because it was getting a little iffy, and she didn't want to walk by herself down the street anymore, but she did that as exercise. And her line was, and I've used it to this day, 38 years later, I'm still saying, if you don't move, you're going to die. That's what she said. And she goes, and that was her thing. So, but her mindset was that, it helped her focus on that. And then you have to have good sleep, which is the third pillar. And the third pillar, when you're having sleep, you're thinking, well, how do I do that? Having a room that's no colder than 68 degrees when you're sleeping is ideal. Up here in Ithaca, this area, it's almost possible. But it's an ideal temperature so that you sleep well. Having dark curtains and all those things like that help you, stabilize, and be, where you're comfortable, having the bed and all those things, because you have to hit the ground running, and you can't hit the ground running if you're tired, because when you're sleep deprived, it's almost like you're drunk. You have the same type of like delayed reactions. And then the fourth pillar is, mindset and positive mental attitude. From the moment you get up in the morning to the moment you go to sleep at night, everything that you think, do, and feel is totally up to you. If someone's in your space and you don't want them in their space and you're toxic, push them away. Some of those people are your family, so you can't exactly push them too far. But, you cannot take on that energy sometimes when we're around people who are toxic, and you have to make sure that you protect your core, and how the environment makes you feel. And then the last thing is to have a properly functioning nervous system. And how that happens is by having proper mechanics and proper posture. So those are like the basic 5 pillars that I help people with sort that out, because, you are, if you're, whatever your structure is, you will eventually become. So, when you see, like if you have a spouse, tell them, if you see you slump down, don't do it, because it's, your body needs to, like right now, I'm not sitting with my back to a chair that I'm sitting in, because my body right now is like, reactivating, itself to being able to be in that posture. How does that happen? It happens from birth, and you go on, you keep on exercising every day, and you keep on moving. So that piece of how mindset mastery, handles that, because when you have those pieces, you can be more productive. You can do more. Your stress levels, you can have higher stress levels and not be reactive to it, like, and get common colds or get colds on a regular basis. You can go to sleep, things that, you do things that, uplift your environment and uplift your spirit, because when you are feeling good, everybody around you feel good, and people can see it on your face. What you think, what you wear, what you eat, what you do, it's on your face.
Yes, thank you so much. Look, you just gave us $1 million worth of advice, and to everyone who's listening right now, we're still live with Dr. Pat. She is very passionate about health, and she just shared with us that we must pay attention. We have to. It shouldn't be um, an option. We have to pay attention to our health. How often are we supposed to remind ourselves? We have to remind us. We have to know it's not optional. So if you're listening to us, please remember, like and share this broadcast, because I told you that we will be sharing information that could be life-saving for someone you know. So thank you so much, Dr. Pat. You encouraged us to um, develop the right mindset, understanding the importance of taking charge of our own health instead
Mhm.
of waiting. Let's get started right now. So thank you. Let me go straight to my next question. You are known for creating simple science-based solutions for high performance, and that's a good one. So my question is, what's one common misconception about achieving better health and happiness, and how can people simplify their approach to see results faster?
So one of the misconceptions I think about achieving better health and happiness is that people rely on somebody else to do it for them. Happiness is a choice. And when, and you also have to be very, very wary of even what the government tells you to do for your health, and be able and willing to do that research, to find out if something, makes sense to you or not, because you can feel it in your gut. And it's just like, and just because you hear it on TV or some media 1,000 times doesn't make it correct. And so, like even, something simple like drinking water, please don't drink drinking water, you know, buy an appropriate, a filtration system. Has almost all water in the United States has things like fluorine and chlorine in it, but it has atrazine in it also. It has a lot of chemicals in it that alter that. It's like if you have it once, well, you have it once, but the thing is that we have it every day and we rely on what comes out of the tap. You can't rely on something like that. So my big, pro tip on that is, I use a zero water filter, because I look at how many TDSs, like that's particles that are in your in chemicals that are in your water. So when I discovered that, I thought, oh my god, I can't believe I've been doing, like, I don't never drink tap water, by the way, but because I just read this research before, it just never made sense to me. Chlorine, when I can smell chlorine, I go, why would I drink bleach? And fluoride, you don't smell it, but it's a neurotoxin. It affects how you think. And then you also have, the other chemicals. Some of them you can't taste. Some people go like, my water tastes horrible. This is an opportunity, and I don't promote necessarily using zero water filters and they're consistent. Like the reverse osmosis I really like, but I travel a lot. And I travel with my pitcher. And so when I go through TSA, they're like, what is that? and, and I say, it's my water pitcher. But I really like spreading good word. And that's like one of the things that I can say. And so when you have a clear palate, and you're eating really good food, then it helps you think better. You digest your food better. You're not damaging your intestinal tract. Everyone thinks that the intestinal tract, not everyone, but many people think it's like this tube, from your mouth to the bottom, but there's a lot of things that happen along that way in order for you to get the nutrients that you actually need. So it's only one cell thick. So if it gets damaged along the way, then foods that you eat sometimes get absorbed into your blood system before they're handled by enzymes and being able to break down that component. And then when it gets into the blood system, your body has to handle it. It goes to the liver to do that. And so that in that process, the liver's going, oh my God, this is a foreign invader. Let's get rid of it. So it tries to put it back in your intestinal tract. But if your intestinal tract is damaged, then it repeats the cycle again. And when it can't do it anymore, it starts storing things. And think about the chronic conditions that we have that are like almost epidemic proportions, especially in this country, that are high in those levels. And so it stores it in blood, brain, bone, and fat. I mean, we have a lot of people with dementia. We have a lot of people with blood diseases, and we have a lot of people with bone diseases, and it comes from our gut. Your gut is your source. I always say, fix your gut, change your life. And that part of the change your life is you're uplifting your health. And think about, you have family, and you have friends, it's just like, I want to see my family and my friends, and people who I don't know, and those people who don't know, I want to change that whole spectrum so that we're all lifting each other up and we have better information so that we can make better decisions moving forward. So if you don't, kind of like, wow, does that make sense? Yes or yes, right? And it's just like, if something makes sense, then you look into it further. If something doesn't make sense, dismiss it. No matter how many people tell you like, oh, you're crazy. It's just like, they told, Einstein he was crazy. They told, Thomas Edison he was crazy. And what about the Wright brothers? We wouldn't be flying from California to, Boston, or, from Atlanta, Georgia to Paris, if, everyone said if the Wright brothers listened and said, hey, we can't do this, but they said they can, and you can too. You can do it better.
Yes, you can do it better. Yes, Albert Einstein once said, the thing about smart people is that they sound crazy to dumb people. Mm. That one right there, that one right there, I can testify to that. And thank you, thank you so much for sharing. You said your gut is your source, so we must fix our gut to fix our life. So thank you
Mhm.
so much for sharing all that. I know you have a book, a published book. Do you mind telling us what the title of that book is and where
Yeah,
people can get the book?
I have four.
Four. That's awesome.
But four, but
Mhm.
I bet you're talking about why are you sick, fat, and tired?
Yes.
And so why are you sick, fat, and tired has two editions. And the first edition has the word why in black, and this in the second edition, which is an expanded edition, is all the letters are in red. So that's how you know the difference between one and the other. And what that book is a workbook, a guidebook, and an advocacy tool so that you can find out where your weakest link is in your health and where your strongest link is. Because if you got to know you have to know both parts, because then you have the strongest part of your links to help support why you're fixing the weakest link. And so, or links. And then you have to, like, there's a way to organize them. It's a book of questions. And it's a book that helps you decide exactly where to spend your time, your energy, and your resources. So it's a great book, especially now, like anyone who's listening to this, to get it, so that you get it by Christmas. Like author editions, I always take 2 weeks longer. I don't know why that is, but you can get a lot faster than I can get it. And then use it for your New Year's resolution. So many people want to be healthier going into the new year, and they don't have a venue, they don't have a plan, they don't know what to exactly do, and they don't know where to start. This gives you an opportunity to know where to start. And my recommendation is to buy the paper version. And so it's a international bestseller, both editions. And at the end, I give you this really great opportunity to take time with me, and I'll go over what your results with you, so you can make sure that you understand them, and then you can decide what your next best steps are. Or you can take it to a doctor who understands functional medicine and lifestyle medicine, and they will be able to determine what those results are too. But everything's in there that you need in order to see what your health snapshot and what your pattern is. And it's even, like I call it, you could give that to somebody for Christmas as the gift of health, and that would be great.
Yes, yes, thank you. And where can they get a copy from? Is it only on
Well,
Amazon or?
there's a lot of platforms that you can get it from, but the platform that most people use is Amazon. So, my name is spelled exactly. It has sometimes Amazon puts it as Patricia instead of Pat. And so, it could be Dr. Patricia Boulogne or Dr. Pat Boulogne, and you'll be able to find me on Amazon, in that book, Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired?
That's great. That's how I go on Amazon to search for books. I just type in the name, the first and last names of the person, of the author, and it brings up all the books. So to everyone who's listening to us right now, you can get your copy and get copies for your loved ones of the book titled Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired by Dr. Patricia Boulogne. All right, go get a copy right now. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to send her a DM. You all have her contact information, I mean, her social media handles. It's right there with you all. Please go follow her right now because she has a lot of information regarding health that she can share with you. Health is wealth. But remember, when you contact her via social media, she might not respond immediately. So she will take her time. When she gets to your message, she will certainly respond. Is that correct, Doc?
Yeah, if they want to do it even faster, they can go to my website, which is healthteamnetwork.com. There are there's numerous ways on my homepage. If you scroll down, there's a mic, and on the mic, if you tap on it, you can record your message or your question. You can send it directly there to me, and that's one place that you can find that, and then give you an opportunity to look what else I have on my webpage.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already shared this on your social media platforms or groups, please do not forget, like and share it. And the reason still remains that you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear the message that Dr. Pat is sharing with us right now. Go share it and like it. All right, I need to ask you another question, Doc. Your programs are tailored to each client's bio individual needs, right? So, how do you approach uncovering the unique barriers someone faces? And what's a transformative story that highlights the power of personalization? Do you have any transformative story to share? How
Well,
do you uncover their unique barriers?
well, I've done many of them over 38 years. I have a couple up my sleeve. Um, but what I think that's important to know is that, you know, you're not your DNA. And that's something that's important. People go, yes, but I got a family history of heart disease. Doesn't mean you're going to have heart disease. And there's some people in your family that doesn't have heart disease and somebody else does. But I can guarantee you, if you don't take the time to change what you put in your mouth and the quality and the quantity and know what the ingredients are of those quality and quantity of that food, because food is medicine, and that you will have the same things and your family, that family thing will continue on and on and on and on. So that's one of the biggest things that is important to realize about that. So that's one of the things I always talk about with people, and like have that understanding, because it's kind of like it's initially a hard concept, but you can change your constitution and your outcomes by changing what you eat. And so eating like organic as much as possible, that is one of the big pieces. And also people have like they're resistant because people are they're such creatures of habit. When you're doing those habitual things like, well, why is it? There was a story about Easter, and this little girl asked her mother why she cut the end of the ham off. And when her mother said, oh, because that's the way your grandma did it. Hang on a second. He goes, that's the way, because your
Yeah,
grandmother
sorry. Yeah, you want to get some more liquid? It seems you okay?
did
So sorry.
it. 1 second.
Yeah. Yes, we're still live with Dr. Pat. Um, she will be back shortly. She needs to stay hydrated. So yeah, if you have not already shared, please like and share it. She said we must be intentional about our diets because diet is key in everything we do. And if we do not make time for our health, trust me, we will eventually make time for our sickness. So the choice is actually ours.
So, so sorry.
No, it's all right. Just
Well, I want
take your
people to
time,
understand
feel
the
better before
concept.
coming
Here's a
back.
concept for you. Somebody will say, Dr. Pat's sick, but I don't think I'm sick. I'm expressing health because if I wasn't healthy, I'd be dead. And the reason for that is because I had a big exposure to a lot of dust about a week and a half ago. And I had the same exposure again today with somebody doing
Okay.
something in my office. So I got all this dust in my face and I've been coughing ever since then. And it's an environment I'm not used to. So my body and my immune system is stepping up the bat saying, oh no, we're not letting it in your body. We're keeping it up.
Right.
And as long as the mucus is clear, it's in Chinese medicine, it's an exterior problem. But
Yes, it
it does,
developing resistance.
but I look at, when you have a cold, you want the cold because you want your body to get rid of all that crap that's in your body. So that's an important thing. So you have to take a look at your immune system. How intact is it? Because if your immune system's not intact, then you're going to struggle. Why is your immune system not intact? Well, when you were born, you had a trauma, and those traumas create inflammation. So it's hard to be productive. I mean, if you think you're born, like, what do babies do? They move and they eat and they poop and they sleep. That's it. And then for 1 year, then suddenly They're starting to move, they're rolling over, they're pushing themselves up, and everyone thinks that's really cute until they're 2 years old. And when they're 2 years old, they are nightmares, like on 2 feet and running around, bumping into things and like getting down, because everything they're doing is about making their body stronger. When you're crawling on the floor and taking something from the floor and putting it in their mouth, doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Their immune system's going to go, whoa, can't have that. And it's going to go into action. And so these things that we do, when we're looking at bio-individuality, you got to take a look at people's environment. You got to take a look at the food that they eat, the air that they breathe, the water they drink. You have to take a look at the chemicals that they're using in their house, because it might just not be one time. Have you ever read the label of a tube of toothpaste, like Colgate or, something like that? It has carrageenan in it. It has all these other things in it. And there's on some labels, on a Crest label I saw one time, if swallowed, call poison control. Now think
Wow.
about that. You're brushing your teeth and and if you see that, you've got to pick ingredients for the hair that you use, the cosmetics and lotions that you use on your body. 65% of what you put on your body gets absorbed into your body. So if it has estrogen disruptors, and a lot of things have estrogen disruptors, no wonder we have problems with breast cancer, and prostate, and because all those toxins, like fatty tissue, and those are fatty tissue. The brain's a fatty tissue. But when you're looking at someone's bio-individuality, you got to take a look at that environment aspect. You have to take a look at what they're eating, what they're thinking, because the mind can undo anything you do to fix the trauma and the inflammation. And it can undo the things that, when you're eating. Do you ever notice, like, sometimes you're really fine, or if you have a disagreement with your husband or your boyfriend or a friend and you go out to eat, you never quite exactly digest your food, and then you toss and turn at night so you don't sleep. Remember that sleep is the third pillar of health. And so when you're looking at someone's bio-individual needs, you got to take a look at who they are in relationship to who they are, and like what they got going for them and what they have stacked against them. And you want to minimize what's stacked against them. And so the barriers, I had a woman who one time had a big red splotch on her leg. And I said, where did you get it? And she goes, well, I go, was it always that big? She said, no, it was not. She goes, when I was, she said, it used to be like the size of a dime, like nickel. And she said, and then I didn't pay attention to it. Then it became like maybe about 6 inches long. So I said to her, and this is where the emotional component of our life comes in. And I said, so when did you notice it get, we ask, questions like, where did you notice it was getting larger and things like this? Have you ever tried to get rid of it? Well, I have, but nothing's ever worked. And so one of the things, and this is how, because when we have emotional things happen, our mammalian brain remembers everything that we do. So it sets us up for that time, like, oh, I know when I meet a guy like that, for instance, or a woman like that, it's just like it's never worked out, and maybe that's true, but and people go, oh, you're generalizing. Your brain says, no, you don't understand. I really had this like really crazy person who I dated, whether male or female, and like, this person, this energy of this person reminds me of that person. Somewhere in it, that emotional component to that person is stored in your body. And if you keep on storing negative things in your body, that part of your body will become sick. It's just like they've proven it. I had one of the top 3 OBGYNs in Boston tell me one time, because I refer her clients. And she said, I was talking to her, and she was, peace of mind so important. If you think you got something going on, you need to get it checked out. But she told a patient of mine that went to go see her, who I said, I think you've got something bigger going on, not in my industry. Go see, this doctor. She's one of the top 3 specialists in Boston. And she saw her, and this woman was in OR 2 days later because a major hospital and laboratory in Boston misdiagnosing her. And she had cancer that was spreading from her uterus to her bladder and to her rectum through the walls. And
Wow.
they were just about at a point. She couldn't figure out why she was lethargic, why she was, wasn't motivated. She couldn't work, and things like this. She had this woman's still alive today, and this doctor, when she retired, she was at Brigham and Women's Hospital, one of the top hospitals in the United States. When she retired, I stopped by to say goodbye to her. There must have been, this woman said, 2,000 people came through that lobby of that hospital to say goodbye to her that day. And there was still people there. I don't know when she got out. I busted through line to say, because we're like, very close. And then she goes, get in the end of the line, Dr. Pat, you know, and I said to her, I go, oh my God, but she was just her wisdom, and how she interacted with her patients was healing just in and of itself. She was such a great role model. So understanding, what sometimes people's barriers are, sometimes you got to discover them. Sometimes people just
Yes.
don't because they're just not aware. But increasing that awareness, because when I believe that when you heal yourself, you heal those behind you, those in front of you, and those around you. And when you heal those around you, those people, that same contagious healing starts to happen. And I think we need a lot more contagious healing as opposed to pandemics.
Yes, ma'am. That resonates with me 100%. And thank you so much for sharing once again. So, life is full of challenges generally, both personal and professional. So, what strategies do you recommend for developing a resilient mindset that can thrive in the face of adversity?
Well, I'm going to say something probably unpopular right now, and I think too many people are empathetic. And it's not that it's bad to be empathetic, but you have to be able to be empathetic and listen at a distance and not take that energy on, or you're going to get sick. You're going to get the same thing that everybody else has. And that's where sometimes I think, well, doctors, they're like, they're so like, they're in this box. They're very, very rigid. It's because they see so many people. You have to protect yourself so that you can still treat people, or else you won't be treating anybody. So I look at, and a special gift that I've been given by the universe, God, innate intelligence, whatever, you want to call it, is that I have the ability to make convoluted or anything simpler so that it can not only can be simpler, it can be quicker, and you can have safer solutions. So I'm always looking at, you want to do something, it's just like, you want to go fly to Paris. Well, fly to Atlanta first, or fly to Chicago and take the 11 o'clock flight out at night, because the 11 o'clock flight out at night will put you there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's 6 o'clock, where you've got till 6 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to figure out what to do because your room's not ready. Right. And so you're there. And also when you're like, for instance, in that scenario, you're sleeping in your normal sleep cycle. So things like, the simple solution is like, well, if you can make meals for yourself, you want to be healthier, make meals for yourself that have only 5 ingredients. The less ingredients, the better. Make meals that if you can't pronounce what's on the ingredient list, don't eat it. And if you can't pronounce what's on the ingredient list, look up the side effects of it. Because, they say recently, and I'll give you a really good example, is that you see on the back of labels sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is not a natural product. It is a man-made product. Here's the problem with it. A lot of times it's in supplementation, and some of the supplementation is in food products where there's also vitamin C. So vitamin C and sodium benzoate together make this, like, the end result is a benzene ring. You're going, what the heck is a benzene ring, Dr. Pat? Benzene ring is like a hexagon, and every other side has got a double bond to it, so it's really strong. It never breaks down. It is, it endures. It's like cockroaches that have been here forever. It's just like, you can't get rid of them. But benzene rings, what happens to benzene rings is it's a 6-sided hexagon, and it has a methane group on top, and that's CH3, carbon, and also hydrogen. That is gasoline. Benzene rings make gasoline, and there are these
Mm.
long chain fatty acid type things. Anyway, that's a lot of big words, but just know it's really, really bad for you. When you see those two pieces, and one exposure, it's just like sometimes you're places that you just can't do anything about. But people need to be more mindful of not only what the ingredients are, where they're sourced, and what the inert ingredients are, like, methyl stearate, or stearate or sodium dioxide. You have to know where those things come from. And you can't, it's like, there's places that you can go to find out what those side effects are. And when you know what those side effects are, you can consciously say, it's never going in my body again. The line's drawn, because there's other options. Like for people who use sodium, like a lot of people are into essential oils, instead of sodium benzoate, you can use frankincense. Frankincense doesn't hate vitamin C, and it doesn't have that same reaction with it. So be really like, start to raise your consciousness about the foods that you're eating, what's in your ingredients, and also and for things that you use on your skin, and like things that like you would use like an aerosol and that. And if you need to wear gloves, read those cleaning labels on pieces.
Yes, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you are just joining us, thank God for technology. You can always watch the replay. Yes, you can always watch the replay. You can always download. By the grace of God, we are on multiple platforms, over 20 platforms, only 3 video platforms, but we are on more audio platforms. It's going to be easy for you to just download it and listen to it again, because these are, the information she is sharing today could cost you thousands of dollars to go get this information, but you're getting it for free today. So I see no reason why you shouldn't take it as your charity work for today just by sharing it. Share it across all your social media platforms so that somebody would listen to it and be saved today. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat. I have one last question for you before I let you go, if that's okay. Now, yes, your work integrates mind, body, and soul for holistic success. Now, can you share practical tips on how someone can start aligning these 3 aspects of their life to unlock their full potential? Mind, body, and soul.
So we're going to go back to the very beginning when we talked, foundationally speaking, that having a robust mindset and having a robust health is crucial. So if you're looking at the mind, read 15 minutes a day. Like if you have to get up 15 minutes earlier in the morning, to do that, or even if you listen to an audiobook instead, just listen to something 15 minutes a day that's informative for you. And then what you also want to do, for like the body, you want to move, and like I said, the second pillar of health, about exercise, and grandma from Atlanta, Georgia said, if you don't move, you're going to die. It's true. It's true. I saw a kid 2 years ago in Massachusetts when I was covering for a doctor, and he was 19 years old, and he couldn't bend more. His fingertips only came to about 6 inches above his knee, because he sits in front of a computer all the time. So I don't know if it's shame on him or shame on his parents. And then, so like, you need to get up and you need to move, you need to stretch, you need to be strong. And so you can't do that sitting all day long. So get up every 2 hours, like do something for 2 hours, take a 20-minute break, and then you go outside, hug a tree, say hello and smile to somebody, pet a dog, do something that's uplifting, because that will also is very good for the soul, and when you wish other people well, then that rebounds and it comes back to you. And when it comes back to you, it comes back to you tenfold. I saw this sign one time, that, said like, don't worry, the karma bus is coming for you. It might be late, but it's coming for you. And like one of the posts was around like a regular bus stop. Well, I think goodness is coming for you, and if you believe that goodness is coming for you, it will come for you. But you have to believe that goodness is coming for you. And you have to look at things when they happen. Just like, is there anything I can do about this? And if there is, or like if you can't sleep at night, if there is, get up and do it. Or if there is, just do it. Don't worry about where you're going to get back or not going to get back. Just do it. And then you can ask yourself on that mode that you can say like, okay, so, I did this part. Well, when am I going to get mine back? Stop looking for when you're going to get it back. Maybe you already got it back and you just missed that you already got it. And so you can't have more unless you start with something. You have to know what your foundational line is, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and even financially, because you can't make good decisions if you're angry all the time, or if you're having like, you're indecisive. You have to do the research, and where I went to school at in Atlanta, Georgia, the person who owned the school at the time, before they turned it, I believe it was a nonprofit. I never paid attention to that. But, he always said, do for the sake of doing, give for the sake of giving, and love for the sake of loving. And everything else will follow. I've been in this doctor's practice in Ithaca, New York, who's a little bit edgy, like in typical New York person. It's like, sorry, everybody from New York. And it's just like this one guy just said, hey, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to you, and so I just gave him a hug. And the woman at the front desk was going like, and she was kind of shocked. But I had people who've like, since I've been there, just turned around, Dr. Pat, I love you. I said, I love you too. And I said, let's rally and get healthy. And I said, and keep moving forward. Because anytime you choose not to move forward, you're actually taking space to go back. And you don't want to get an
Yes.
opportunity to steal your thunder and live unapologetically, but you've got to have your health. You've got to have your mindset, and you have to be able to move and interact with people, and smile. Smile goes a long, long way, in that one piece of kindness, and Dr. John's right, about, he's said this about 4 or 5 times already, like tell people about this, share it. If you love people, then share it, you know, love it. Put the heart instead of just the like, and say something that was great. And just like, or what you learned from something. People always, sometimes, a guy came to me 7 years after I moved to Boston from Cape Cod, and I was on Cape Cod for 10 years. And he said, Dr. Pat, 60 Minutes was on. You could have been on there because everything the guy said about sugar, you said, because I tell people never to eat it. So, and he said, everything was there. He goes, everything that you said. And ever since, he's like 7 years later after I moved, he said, I haven't been eating sugar at all. He goes, I've never felt so much better. But this guy said everything that you've always said, and as I harp on it, because it's like, don't eat sugar. It's just like, if you understood sugar a little bit more, you would know how it sets you up to have diabetes, how it sets you up to have fatty liver, and you don't need those illnesses for no apparent reason. There's other ways that you can eat, and you can get nourished. Because if you're nourished, you can nourish somebody else. You can't help elevate. You can't help raise the tide, if your boat has a hole in it, and so,
That's
yeah.
right.
And so it's just like, you've got to have, we have to have stronger boats. We have to make sure our boats don't have holes in it. And when they develop one, fix it. Then don't fix it 5 years down the road, because it might be such a big hole that you need a whole new body. Right. So anyway, I love you.
That
And I just, and I want to see everybody who's listening do incredibly off, like wall chart, the wall, all that stuff, whatever that line is. And that I want to see you do really well, especially in 2025, because you can do it.
yes, you can do it. You can do it if you really want. Yes.
It's a
Henry
power.
Ford said, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you cannot, you are right. So the
Mhm.
choice is yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Dr. Pat, thank you so much for sharing those beautiful nuggets. And yeah, I want everybody to please like and share this, because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been
That's
waiting
true.
for a lifetime to hear the message. These are these information you just got from Dr. Pat today could cost thousands of dollars to get them, but you're getting them free. So let someone else learn from it. Thank you so much. I hope when next I invite you to the program, you will be willing to come share your experience with members of my community.
Would love to. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, please go get a copy of our book, Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired? It's available on Amazon. Just go there, type her name, Dr. Patricia Boulogne, or Dr. Pat Boulogne, Boulogne.
Yep.
The last name is B. Yeah, go ahead.
And just remember, the latest edition is the one with the red letters.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Because they
that's
said both
great.
of them are up there.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing. And you can also visit our website. It's right there for every one of you. Um, let's see. The website is www.healthteamnetwork.com. www.healthteamnetwork.com. She's also on LinkedIn and Instagram. So go follow her right now. And if you've got any questions, feel free to contact her via her website. Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time where we need to bring this program to a close. We are excited to share some amazing ways for you, yes, you who's listening, for you to stay connected with our mission and continue to grow together. Your support and engagement means the world to us. Now, here's how you can get involved. Number one is you can support our mission and help us continue uplifting lives by making a donation. All donations made to John Ogulu Foundation are tax deductible because it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Nothing is too small. Your generosity allows us to keep spreading hope and positivity. If you want to make a donation today or when next you want to donate to a nonprofit, visit the website www.johnugulu.com. www.johnugulu.com. Number two, if you're looking for inspiration, you can check out the same website, johnugulu.com. Check out our collection of inspirational books that are designed to motivate and encourage you on your journey. The same website, johnugulu.com. And thirdly, you can tune in to our latest podcast episodes where we share powerful messages of hope, resilience, and personal growth. Listen now to the podcasts and let the words lift your spirit. Access to the podcast is also on the website, www.johnugulu.com. And lastly, you can connect with us by becoming a part of our growing community where we uplift and inspire one another every day. So you can subscribe today for just $10 and receive exclusive content, daily motivation, and access to special events. Yes, when you are a subscribed member of our community, you can become a repeat guest on our podcast where you can advertise your goods, services, and whatever you do legitimately, only legitimate businesses. And also you can stand the chance of receiving awards, yearly awards, by being a member of our community. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we can continue to make a lasting impact and spread positivity in all we do. Now, I don't know who's listening to me right now. I don't know where you're listening to me from. I don't even know what you know about yourself. Neither do I know what the people around you know about you. But here is one thing that I am certain about you. Yes, you who's listening to me. I know you have greatness within you. I know you have all it takes to help you transition from where you are to where you want to be. I know for sure, 100%, that you have everything you need to become the best version of yourself. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Stay blessed, everybody. God bless you all. Thank you once again, Dr. Pat.
You're
And
welcome.
bye